All right, welcome everyone. It is InterVisions time. This is a brand new web show that I am going to be doing with a bunch of absolutely amazing people in our community. This is incredibly nervous to set this all up and get it working, but Diggs has been awesome. And we got a bunch of wonderful people here, so I'm going to introduce them. Of course, I'm Umber but today, joining me on the very first episode ever, we have the wonderful Dr. Diggs. The
Sorry. Yes, I'm here. Hi. Hello. Sorry, Giant sent me a message and I was reading it and I'm like, what? Wait, what do I need to do? But hello, everybody. Great start. Hi.
All right, and we have the awesome Reindell.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me.
All right, and the absolutely fantastic, amazing Auronnj as well.
What's up, everybody? Good to be here.
All right, so this is the first time, so I'm sure there's going to be lots of flubs. We're doing this recording all live, and and we don't have any sponsors yet, so you guys are totally allowed to swear just a little bit. We don't want to upset our daddy Twitch, okay? But yes, we're going to be talking about a lot of different stuff today to do with the Wotive community, as well as different things that are going on the JP side and the global side. And normally I do all my stuff in a lot of isolation, so it's great to have a bunch of other players here to tell me what's what. So I will divert to all of your expertise, and let's just get right into the first segment because we don't want to be here all night. So we're going to start with a section called Revisions, which is basically looking back into. Oh no, we're not doing revisions yet. Sorry, oh my god, I'm already flubbing this. I want to know how you guys have been doing. What have you guys been doing for the last little bit? What's up? So let's start with Diggs.
Yeah, my life is pretty boring this week. We have the new version of BlueStacks, which has been running global amazing if you guys haven't used it yet. So I've been farming a lot of stuff, which I haven't been able to like auto farm for a long time unless I was on my phone. And I've been playing a lot of ESO, Nier, and been watching Giant play Pokemon Snap.
All right, sounds good. All right, Reindell, how about you? How are you doing?
Let me talk again when you talk. Oh my god, did he DC?
Umbra might have crashed, so I'll just go ahead and go.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Aura.
Yeah, so my name's Auronnj. I'm a teacher and War of the Visions / a few other games content creator. The school year here in America is winding down, which has been amazing. The idea of a summer break seems awesome. And so, yeah, I make War of the Vision stuff. I teach. I stream sometimes. Mostly make YouTube videos. It's been a really cool experience, and I'm happy to be here. I think Umber's back, so I'll throw it back to him.
Yep, sorry. That's a drop frames. Wonderful. All right, thanks, Oren. And Reindell, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. So yeah, my name is Reindell. I'm a Canadian content creator, and then in life, I guess I'm a marketer. So I'm a generally handling everything about marketing for a small company. So that's what I do outside of War of the Vision. And then lately, what I've been playing is Horizon Zero Dawn. I never played this game before, and it's my first dive in, and it's just been so immersive and very fun. So I'm trying to play this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, thank you guys. Thanks for doing the introduction. Yeah, let's get right into the content, shall we? So, all right, this time for real. All right, so let's start off with revisions. So this is a look back at the month of April. You know, what do you guys think about your accounts? What's been working? What hasn't been working? Do you have any regrets for anything you've been doing? Because that's something I don't talk about as much as I should, but you know, sometimes you pick the wrong horse, so to speak. So let's start with Oren. How about you?
Yeah, okay. So for the last month in game, obviously Global just went through 1 year anniversary, Final Fantasy X collaboration, and now we're in Nier collaboration. We've got King Mont coming up. Like, it's a super busy time in game for Global. I don't regret at all the Final Fantasy X units. there was a lot of talk around like Auronnj not being super good, but I'm kind of named after him. So of course I went hard for him. Got him, and he's been amazing. In fact, in global with Gilgamesh and Auronnj both getting 120 EX at the same time, like you go into Guild Wars and you're like, oh look, it's a bunch of Gilgamesh, Auronnj unit teams. And so those have all been great units to max. I've done a pretty good job holding off on maxing like some older units, although I really want to do some of them. I've saved some EX materials, which has been really nice. The mission now is like, I guess I don't know. It's all about saving. We're gonna go through what JP went through. And I know Umbra, you've talked about it plenty, what the hell stretch, right? And global players are starting to feel it with and we haven't got EX winter units yet, which is like, when is this happening? And people are like, oh, summer units are coming. And I'm like, no, please, just keep those. Yeah, so I guess that's it's my camera die. No, I'm back.
You're still here.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm happy with my account. It's doing good, and yeah, there you go.
All right, sounds good. You guys are entering what I would call the worst stretch of the game. All right, Diggs, how about you?
Yeah, I think for April, the biggest thing for me was basically everything that went on. So that's Final Fantasy X, that's near, that's EX units, right? All of that kind of hit at the same time. And I'm in the process of maxing out every single unit right now, which is like a big project for me. So that has been keeping me busy grinding things I normally wouldn't grind. So focusing on like red orbs. I've been grinding elemental alchrists a lot. And I'm just finally at the spot now where I have all the job levels maxed almost on my characters. So this week should be the last time I have to farm the red orb room. And yeah, I feel like it's been a pretty good month. I feel like there's definitely a lot of stuff coming. I don't know if winter units will be coming soon. I have no idea. Same with King Mont. And I'm really hoping King Mont comes with the spring medals. That's the one thing I'm like, they could delay him like another week and a week and a half and basically just troll people who had been polling for spring medals, basically. That would be my fear.
Could happen. I mean, this is Gumi. They like to make us pay. That's something with the... Get ready for the FF7 event, you guys.
If you read the detail of the spring medals, it says all the units that are released by 5/12, which seemed a little suspicious to me. So
that's what, 2 more Wednesdays?
Yeah. Well, so here's the question: if it counts for the following Wednesday or not? That's what I'm wondering, right? Like, what if it doesn't count and they release King Mont on that Wednesday? Yeah, I don't know. Something I'm thinking about.
We get Spring Metal 2 shop. They release Mont.
Yeah, right.
It's a new metal shop. And all our other metals are trash.
That would be so sad.
You guys heard it here first. Lord Mont coming May 13th at 0001.
And
he won't be in the Sunday news. It's a Thursday surprise drop.
Yep.
Like, oh, here you go.
Sure.
Yep. Sounds about right. All right, Reindell, how about you? How was your month of April?
My month was pretty up and down, I'd say. So I guess you asked about regrets. I went way harder for Yuna than I had planned to. I did say, because I recorded my polls, and I said I was only going to do the 9-step and stop there. But I ended up spending 60,000 vision ores and not getting hurt. So I went way above budget. So after that point, I stopped pulling on anything until to be, and then I maxed to be when she was released. So overall, I'm happy about the month, but I've had something to regret. And yeah, people, if you set a budget, respect it, or at least give yourself a day or two before continuing. Otherwise, you fall into like the sunk cost fallacy, and that's a terrible place to be in. And then I guess fun stuff on the other end is I did 2 MR-only challenges. One where I was trying to build a MR team to fight the Mono Waters that were out, and then another one where I did a MR-only team to fight the Yuna, Sakura, and then whatever other light team combo. And these were super fun to try and record.
Nice, very nice. All right, so I guess I should talk a little bit too. I'm here, so month of April on the JP side. Obviously, like April, the beginning of April was really weird because we got the announcement that 7 was coming, and then it was an immediate like, oh well, I'm not using any resources on anything for the entire month. We got Charlotte, who turned out to be Cloud's best friend, as it just so happens to be. And yeah, I skipped completely Charlotte, and then I went on the Cloud banner, and I got Charlotte instead. So whoops, that was a mistake. And was just holding back all my gold and everything. So month of April, I mean, it's been good. I got Cloud, I got Tifa, but I skipped so much of the gold banner for Charlotte that now my Charlotte's 69, which, you know, internet will say is very nice, but any Wotive player will tell you not so much.
As a middle school teacher, I can confirm whenever you ask somebody for a number, you get 42069. That's every number.
Nice.
Sad truth.
All right, so let's transition into the next segment, which is previsions. I guess we went from revisions into previsions. So the month of May, predictions. Well, global, I think you guys are going to be seeing a big cost Mont for sure. That's actually my little bit of prediction here. And I also think that Rule will be showing up as well, which is the Earth Elemental Scholar Mage, basically a mage that is good against other physical or against physical units. And JP will be going into its 1.5 year anniversary, as well as we've already started with the Aerith and what's the other guy? Barrett, Guard, Scorpion, all of that. So getting into your guys's, what are your predictions? What do you think? Is there anything that you I guess also, I feel like it's pretty certain you guys are getting double cost Mont. Will you be going for Mont? And how hard? All right, let's start with Reindell this time.
I actually won't be going for him. I don't really have a good tank on my account, but honestly, I don't like running them. Not my jam. So I'll be skipping King Mont. But if he has a 9-step, I'm thinking of doing the 9-step to get his shards, and then when I naturally pull him eventually, he'll be easier to build. But I don't want to go above budget this time. So there's that. And then another prediction, I'm expecting Freyevia ZX Job to be coming in the next couple of weeks as well, alongside the Vision card, possibly. And if they do release that, I'm going all in. She's one of my favorite characters to use. So that's my biggest prediction, I'd say.
And I know you guys don't play the JP side, but Reindell, I'll get you to chime in here. 1.5 year anniversary for JP. Is there a character you're expecting? Because right now we don't know anything.
I'm thinking it might be the Final Fantasy IV rerun, because it's been a while since it's been released, and they might do that because there's a lot of fans of 4, so it would be a good spot for it to possibly rerun. I don't think they'll do another new collab right after doing FF7, so that would be my bet.
All right, good predictions. Good predictions. Oh, I just noticed that my camera has ember rays on my side, so that's amazing. All right, Diggs, how about you? What are your previsions?
I'm not going to pull for King Mont. I will go for his shards. I'll probably do the 9-step up, but I'm not going to chase because I am going to chase Her Royal Majesty Queen Helena when she comes out. And if I'm going to chase one of them, I want to chase Helena and not Mont. I think we are most likely going to see Ruel this month, probably Freyevia with the VC as well. Am I excited for Ruel? She'll definitely be a fun unit. But again, she's Earth Element. So, I mean, you know, there's not very many good Earth Element units, it seems like. It seems to be one of the elements that's kind of forgotten about, with the exception of Eileen, of course, Auronnj. But on the JP side, I think we will probably see, I would hope, another Tactics banner. I think it's weird that we haven't gotten any Tactics EX units yet. It seems like it's quietly been forgotten about, or it's intentionally being planned with the release of Charlotte and Cloud into Thunder God Sid EX would make sense to me. Not to mention you have Agrius, who's also Ice, Barrett, who's also Ice. There's just a lot of combinations there. Delita, who's Fire, right? I don't know. Seems like that would be the direction they should be headed.
All right, good series of predictions, and let's move on to Oren. How about you? What do you got for us?
My prediction was also a tactics rerun. I think for exactly the same reasons, the elements match up, and I think a lot of people, even if it's not ideal, want to run mono element or at least two units of the same element. And so Orlando and Agrius, who are just strong, will get people to pull. And then I think they add another new unit in there, right? Like, some people are thinking like, oh, Sephiroth is the secret drop, and there's just no way. That dude he is a whole banner by himself. He's a whole nother reason people will start playing the game. So I don't think that's coming. But I do think you get like maybe like one of Ramza's brothers, or some of those temple knight. I forget what they're called, like the church knights from the game that are in Brave Exvius. I think maybe some of those come out to try and get people to go a little bit more. But yeah, tactics is due because yeah, and then yeah, okay, that's it.
No, no. What? Okay, JP side, but what about global?
Oh, okay, yeah, I was good. Okay, yeah. So global. Here's what I'm. Dwayne is always this like interesting thing to bring up here, right? Because in JP, part of the like Hell Week was you got Dwayne, right? And everybody freaked out. And it makes sense. So we have Dwayne and we have Warrior of Light on the horizon, but Dwayne doesn't have his EX here yet. So, like, when do they drop Dwayne's EX? I think they wait until maybe like a little bit after King Mox. I think if they dropped it before that, people would maybe EX Dwayne and skip King Mont. So I want that to come, but I don't know when it's coming. And then Warrior of Light EX is coming soon, but I imagine that's a month away. So
If I could jump on the Dwayne thing,
yeah.
just to ask you a question,
Uh-huh.
because it's something I've thought about. Do we get upset if Dwayne shards aren't normal cost when he's EX is released in JP?
Nope.
So you're saying because JP got normal cost Dwayne?
I mean, but we get like, and I make videos about this, and people get really bent, right? And I'm like, hey, Global gets hooked up. We get these tokens. You can go to a paid banner, get 10 guaranteed URs for 2K Viz, plus 100 shards of whatever you want, even if it's double cost. Like, the value there's nuts. And so I think we get something more in that realm than they just make Dwayne 90 cost. That's a I don't know. That's my guess. I'm basing that on nothing. I have no inside information, obviously, but that's my guess.
But yeah, I also think we're in no position to complain if they don't. Like, maybe they'll hook us up again, but we've got so many goodies that are global exclusive that it would be very unfair of us to complain just because JP got something better for once.
To chime in as well, from the JP side, we are definitely jealous. I mean, you guys have, if you look at what you guys have gotten, I mean, yeah, you got that, but even the fact that your dailies have been better than us for almost ever at this point, a lot of JP players like. Also, it's not unnoticed on the Twitters, on the forums, and everything on the JP side. There are people who have noticed, and we're not exactly the most happy about the fact that we haven't got that. So like when it came to Duan, I mean, you had a monumental thing that happened where all of the top guilds said, "Look, this is enough," and that's quite a thing because we never even saw that in the Brave Exvius days where something that colossal happened where it just went like, "Okay, hold on, put on the brakes, we're stopping with this," and so yeah, I mean, if Duan, I get that he was a global exclusive, but if really, as far as I'm concerned at this point, if that's like the least thing you guys get, it's fine.
Well, and if they change it, if they do a Dwayne rerun, right, and they EX him and change the cost down to 90, well, everybody who paid double cost for his first shards is going to be like, now hold on, you gonna give me 600 shards because I paid for these twice? Well, actually, we all just paid $40 and bought the character.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
we
true.
didn't have to pull
guilty.
for him. Yeah, so maybe they just do that. Maybe they just do Dwayne round 2 and they say, hey, 40 more bucks. Here's everything to 120 the guy.
I
And
feel like there's no good way for them to release Dwayne EX. Like I think no matter what they do, they're gonna get like people are gonna be angry.
well, and like when you catch yourself in these situations when you're like running something, right? And you've screwed somebody over and everybody's mad. the way to get out of that is not to try and like balance the scales precisely. The way to get out is just hook people up. Say, our bad, here's a bunch of stuff, enjoy this. And then everybody's like, okay, I feel a little better.
Well, so the question is, should it be 250 regular cost then to balance the scales?
No, I seriously just think they released. I think they released the original $40 Dwayne, and they released the $40 EX pack, and say, "Hey, global, we'll just."
That would be a good idea. Release another $40 Dwayne, or make him permanently buyable, maybe.
Yeah, because we prove over and over again in global that we will just go buy something. Like, we love to gamble. I love to gamble, but hey, or here's Dwayne, $40. I'm like, yeah, cool, sweet.
Oh, good points. I'd like to throw out one idea to you guys, which has to do with book 2. So sorry, I'm gonna give the most vaguest, well, the most smallest of spoilers for book 2, which is the fact that I think for the 1.5 anniversary on JP, we're going to see another incredibly big main character finally enter the gacha, which is, of course, the Reindell Nation leader himself, Jaden.
That'd be awesome.
Is he double cost? Do you think he's going to be double cost?
I think he's going to be double single cost. He's going to be a double statted unit, but I think they've gotten way too much blowback, and 7 has been enough money that they can probably release Jaden as the Duan situation where he is going to have incredibly high stats. I think he's going to be Earth Element to really screw everyone who just got Thunder for the last month. And that's going to be a big boost for the Earth Element. A lot of people have said Fire. It could happen, but I think we're going to be seeing more along that lines of I think Earth needs a big boost, and this is a good opportunity to get a big boost. And for the anniversaries, they tend to focus. I mean, last year we got Glassy and we got Laswell, so it's probably going to be a more Brave Exvius anniversary. Who knows? We might actually see that Glassy they promised 1 year ago. Yeah. It's been 1 year. We haven't seen anything for that. So.
Well, and notice how none of us predicted in our like global predictions you are Zazan. Because they gave us the vision card for free like 3 weeks ago. And we're like, oh, here he comes. And now we've all just like, never mind. See you in 12 months.
They did say that it was still in a while in the future. So I'm not expecting it soon, honestly, especially seeing how long it takes them to release the new Glaciella.
Yes.
And then one point I would have in favor of Jaden not being double cost is I think they might want to keep leeway to create a better Jaden, just like they did Ruin Stern and then King Mont. So they probably don't want to do him double cost immediately, because if he's so popular, they want to be able to release him again.
Well, yeah, that is definitely a possibility. I had a thought and it's just gone now. Damn it. That usually means that it's probably time to move on to the next segment. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with the 1.5 anniversary. Oh yeah, I remember now. It was a year ago that they said FF7 was coming soon. So take that for what you will, globalers, in terms of your Zazen. But I think it's time that we should move on to the next segment. This is kind of a surprise one. So this is something that was added last night. And Diggs, I'm sorry about this, that I did not give you fair warning. This is about the producer letter May system, or the May live letter, which we were waiting for. Diggs and I were like talking about doing the stream for a bit, and it's just like, all right, should we wait for the letter? And it's just like, when's it coming out? Finally came out 30 seconds before May. So there's just a few points I want to touch on. So first of all, there's going to be a semi-spark system that was announced. This is brand new. And we don't have all the details about this, so take this with a grain of salt. But I guess we'll just get some quick reactions through the 4 major points I thought about. So first of all, the semi-spark system will work as in on selective banners. You will be able to get a brand new type of currency that you will be able to trade for shards of units you already have. Let's get some reactions from you guys about this one. So start with Auronnj.
So yeah, when I played the the first gotcha game I ever played was now I can't remember the name of it. Really old popular gotcha game out for a long time. There's like fighting games of it. There's an RPG coming out soon.
Grand Blue Fantasy.
Grand Blue Fantasy, yes. That like when I first started playing that game, it was out for a long time, and everybody was like, "Oh, we're gonna spark this thing. We're gonna spark that thing." And I was like, "What the heck is this sparking?" And it ended up being like the best thing you could do. You saved up enough currency till you could spark, and so giving if it's something that gives free to play players, or at least like minnows, right? Because right now in global, the biggest hookups have gone to dolphins and whales, and that makes sense. They're making money. Okay, not holding that against them, but something that gives the free to play or the light spenders an opportunity to be like, I have 80K Visior. Can I get something for this guaranteed? If they can get like a spark, well, okay. And maybe if we know more about what the spark system does, I don't. So if somebody has more details on how it works, we don't have anything yet.
We this is an incredibly vague thing. We know that it is coming somewhere in the middle of the month of May, but it is about as vague as it could possibly be.
Well, anything that would reward people who just barely spend or are free to play, because we like even though that the game doesn't make a ton of money off them, we do need a healthy base of players for the game. So I think that's a good idea.
Oh, sorry.
I would say it's a good idea too. Give me anything. Give me anything and I'll take it.
All right. Reindell, how about you?
I guess my thoughts on it would mainly be for newer players that come into the game and they don't have all the units that were released like since the beginning. It's really hard for a newer player now to decide like I want to build Lucia, especially in JP, like it's several months ahead of us in global. So I think that if the Spark system helps people build older units that they like, that they might pull once or twice and don't want to wait months for them to be like featured eventually in a banner, I think that would be a reason for the Spark system to be a really cool thing.
All right. Also, I just noted someone in my chat asked, what is a spark system? A spark system is basically, in a lot of other gacha games, if you do enough pulls, you can essentially get the character that you want, or you can choose a character, or if you have enough character shards, you can actually create the character, which is something that is in Taga, the Last Alchemist Guild, which is made by the exact same people. Matter of fact, most of our systems are copy and pasted. But still, it's something that's kind of missing for us. So this is news. All right, next, keep it moving. Guild joint battles. So this is going to be a new feature coming for guilds where you and your guildmates will be fighting the exact same boss. No details about rewards or anything yet, but something new for guilds to do. Quick thoughts. Let's go Diggs first.
Yeah, sounds great. Anything that kind of encourages guild play, I think, is wonderful. I've been wanting them to change the guild play for a while. I wanted them to go in the different direction where maybe you could do like 5-man versus 5-man guild battles or something like that. We're releasing a video later this week on my channel where Bismarck and I talk about like the one change I want to see in War of the Visions ever. And it's really just a change to the GVG system, whether it's more of like a defend your stronghold or something like that. So I think anything that sees a change to guild joint battles, whether it's adding PvE elements or adding other elements, kind of helps push guilds into a direction where they're more relevant. I'm excited for it.
All right. How about you, Reindell?
I think it seems really cool. What I'm hoping is that it doesn't have to do with people getting in at the same time, similar to our War Division raids. But I would like to see something like the FFBE raids, where it's like one bus, for example, that you have for the whole guild, and then you need to defeat it several times as a guild to make it stronger, get more rewards. So players can still do it a bit individually because not everybody can tune in at the same time for guilds. But you do get rewards the more people participate in.
Sounds good. All right. I think that's totally reasonable. And Auronnj, how about you?
Yeah, totally agree. More guild stuff is awesome. More the community in this game is the best part of this game, in my opinion. So more ways to interact with your guild. And then I agree with what Reindell said. Like that is probably the way they go with it, I think. Because like you just mentioned before, this game has a lot of copied like mechanics and things from other games. I think just take the FFB system, put it in here, boom.
All right, sounds good. And next up, the selection quests are improved. So you guys know what selection quests are, I'm sure. Using lower than UR units to get specific UR units, such as the Earth Elemental quest that gets you a copy of Moraga and all of his shards to build him. So selection quests will be getting improved in the future to allow you to use the UR unit you get from the selection quest. So for instance, first mission, you end up getting your copy of Moraga. Every other subsequent mission, you can actually use Moraga. All right, some thoughts. Reindell, let's go with you first.
Well, I'm a guy. If you guys know my channel, I do a lot of MR content. So obviously I have to vouch for the MR teams. I think the selection quests that are currently existing has been cleared by most players. So is it necessary to give them this help? But on other side, I'm thinking for older players that may be true, but for newer players, these quests are very difficult, and then giving them the possibility to use the unit they're currently building might give them a hand up. So for that reason, I can't disagree with the decision, but I still hope players will find this to be a sufficient reason to build strong MR teams, because they don't get to shine as much in PvP, especially with the EX job system. So they need one place where they can be played and need to be built.
Now, I'll tell you right now, selection quests are not autoable content as far as my experience. Auronnj, how about you?
Yeah, build your less than UR units. Like, that's Diggs is on that quest right now. He's gonna be ready for this thing. I am not on that quest right now, so I need to begin that quest right now. That's my
Yes.
thought.
For anybody in chat who's wondering, it goes light, earth, wind, and lightning in that. But lightning should be pretty easy because Thalia/Saria exists. Diggs, how about you? What are your thoughts?
I don't see it as an improvement. I see it for like newer players as an improvement, but I think for global players, we know they're coming. You should be preparing for them. As Auronnj said, he's not prepared and he knows he should be preparing. Like I think if you're not getting your MRs ready, even if you're just leveling them to like level 75, right? Or awakening your Azure spheres once at a time to get your
Oh no, I've had a disconnect.
the way to go
Yeah,
and
we
to start
still see and hear
preparing.
you.
So you're still here. Yeah, you're still
Okay,
here.
I disconnected on my
Well, if
side.
Homer's not here, I'm just gonna show you guys. I'm gonna start my quest right now. I'm gonna make
Start
a
right this second.
light
There you
team,
go.
and I'm gonna start leveling them
This
up.
is an
I value
InterVisions
that
exclusive.
Mariana
We
and
have
Auronnj units
we have
that
Auronnj
are
starting the
used
quest
in
right
Auronnj.
now.
I love those guys.
All
I
right.
love Marial. Marial's really good in class match too.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
All right. And the last thing in the
Alright,
producer.
Can you
Honestly,
hear
I
us?
didn't know that we
Oh,
could
sorry,
only use
what?
not UR units. Like I thought I was fine. So I was like, I got all these URs leveled. I'm gonna crush this thing.
I'm
Turns out,
muted. There we go. I
not.
think I'm back now.
Yeah, you're back.
Yes.
Yes.
Yay. All right. So last thing in the producer live letter, the May EX batch. Really, there are two units that I think we need to talk about. I mean, Fina as well as, oh boy, Fina and Helena are going to be getting their EXs as well as some lower tier units. And I think Helena is already probably going to be pretty strong. I'm not too worried about her. But the URs, I'm more worried about. Maybe at least one. Engelbert will be getting his EX, and as well as Ruin Stern, because let's face it, the Dark Element was not strong enough already. Quick thoughts about it. Diggs, let's go to you first.
Yeah, Ruinstern's gonna fucking kill you. That's just the way. It's just the way it is. Not too scared about Engelbert. His weakness to magic can be exploited pretty easily, and there's a lot of magic units. Specifically, Black Rose Helena is just gonna obliterate him. I'm not too worried about Engelbert, unless their meta shifts into like piercing or something. I don't think Engelbert's gonna be a big deal.
All right, and Reindell, how about you?
Well, I guess for all EX jobs, like they seem to take one direction and send that character really into that direction. And right now, for Engelbert, I'm hoping that he gets more, he provides more to the team, right? Because he's still a really good tank, even in the face of 120 units, but he doesn't do enough damage or status effects. So if he gets some of those, I'll be happy. Runestern, I just hope he doesn't get more tanky because even now he's still a really strong attacker in general. And if they keep giving him attacks, I'm fine. But if he becomes somebody who can take 2 to 3 hits because of some random single target resistance or area resistance, he's going to be a monster, and it won't be fun to fight him.
All right, and Auronnj, how about you? What do you think?
Totally looking fun to Papa Engelbert coming back to the game. We get EX Ayaka, EX Engelbert, EX Orlando, throw it all the way back to week 3 and just run that squad. Then Eileen wins again. That's the whole reason I want all that to come back. But no, I think it's cool. Engelbert's an awesome unit, awesome character. Ruinstern is going to be OP. There's just no doubt. Yeah.
All right, I personally think that Engelbert. I'm really hoping that his EX shines. I hope that he gets hate generation. I hope he can compete with much newer tanks because he has fallen, I think, quite far behind. And if Agrius as well gets, a really good EX, then that's going to be even more competition. But hey, if everyone's a good tank, that's good news for all of us. So, and Ruinstern, I don't know. I don't think I need to say anything about that guy. He's probably just going to be. He's in one of the strongest elements, unless ice, really gets in here. But hey, frostbite is a thing, so that might be the end of.
Why would they wait so long to give Engelbert his EX unless they're just going to hook it up?
Well, I think that timing is important. You got to remember, Engelbert is coming right after FF7, so that could not bode necessarily well in terms if they were expecting people to have spent everything and really not have the resources. Or it could mean that they wanted to make a good EX because it will be tempting because people already have the shards for him. So, as always, Gumi is hard to predict.
Definitely.
All right, so that's it for the producer live letter. Let's move on to a segment I'm calling Value Coliseum, which is all right. So let's just give a little backstory. So this is going to be a recurring segment, but this month we ended up getting Rain and Laswell's EX, and I made a review about it that I got some flack for on the YouTubes, where I reviewed both of them, and I said Laswell was better than Rain between the two of them. Not in direct competition, but I thought in terms of value and who would be better for EX and spending the resources. YouTube disagreed, so now we have 3 experts here today. They have all taken a look at their kits, and this is the way this is going to work. Each of them is going to talk about what they think about both characters. They can talk a little bit between each other, and I'm going to stay mostly out of it. And at the end, each of these 3 guys is going to vote on which one they think is better, and there's your winner. And that's it. That's done for the discussion in the global community. No one gets to talk about it ever again.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, if anybody argues with it, they just need to uninstall the game. So
exactly, this is InterVisions.
We'll remove them from the community.
That's right. We'll
just jettisoned. All right, so first off, let's start with Auronnj. Let's get your opinions on both characters and what you think.
All right, so when I look at EX jobs, right, I look at 2 things. I'm like, they're all getting stat hookups, cool. But then I look at their skills that were really good before, right? Like, what were their best skills? What did they do? Are those getting better? And then what's their job level 25 ability? So with Laswell is like this evasion unit who gets a shield that just prevents damage one time. And so it's always like he had an extra little pocket evade if somebody dropped 100% hit on him. That ability is getting better. It's getting another cast. He can now use that 3 times. So, okay, I think that's good. Then his level 25 ability is an AoE 25% chance to blind for 3 turns to the target. His that is just great for Evasion Laswell, just Laswell in general. So I think he is getting stronger than Rain is. Rain is getting a move debuff and a slow essentially added to Firaga. And like Rain's also just a tank. Now Rain's cool and he's a good tank, but we got Charlotte, right? So Laswell's my vote. Boom.
All right. Thank you, Auronnj, for your opinion. Let's move on to Diggs. All right, Diggs, I want some hot takes. Let's go.
Yeah, I think Rain is garbage. I think that
Oh.
the JP community has had this long time domination of King Mont, which is a fire-based unit. They have learned how to counter fire-based units very effectively. Any composition that is expecting to go up against a meta composition is going to be planning on going up against King Mont as well as Black Rose Helena. So they're going to have both magical resistance and they're going to have fire resistance on their teams. You could literally make Rain probably one of the best characters in the game right now, and he would probably not be successful in comparison to Laswell because people are prepared for fire and are ready to counter fire. If you also consider that a lot of the limited time VCs that buff fire are limited time, it just kind of makes fire a difficult class to justify to newer players, to regular players, to light spenders who might not have all the limited time resources to make Rain good. They're both fine, but I think Laswell is going to come out on top just by the fact that Rain already has all of these disadvantages going against him.
All right. Well argumented. All right. And argued. Sorry, argumented. That's an interesting word. My brain works. All right, Reindell, how about you? Let's get your opinion.
Well, I'm gonna have to disagree with my two partners here. I am a big fan of Laswell. I use him a lot, and Ice has got a ton of support with the elemental abilities from Vision cards. So obviously, all that's going in his favor. But if I had to compare both characters, I have to think about usability and then other characters you can use in their place. And like Ice slashers, we have so many other Ice slashers that are great. You can run Gilgamesh, you can run Auronnj. There's now the new guy with the greatsword. I don't even know his name. So there is a lot of competition here. And with fire, like you guys have mentioned, there's not a lot. Sure, there's King Mont, who's a physical tank, but there's no other fiery magical tank. And there's really just like one other good magical tank that's Charlotte that's available on long time content. So sure, in PvP, in a lot of content, Laswell will perform better. But there will always be content where you need possibly a fire mage or fire magic tank, and there probably won't be content where Laswell is the only unit you can use. And then for live PvP or manual play, I like the idea of running a Rain that can slow people, that can strike directly at their AP with his Knight abilities, and that can AoE reduce move, thus protecting everybody behind him while being a good frontline because he's tanky. So I think he will have some usability that's pretty unique. And while I really love Laswell's kit, that's the one thing that I think Rain will be better at is just being more unique.
All right, so gentlemen, everyone's talked about it. Let's see. All right, let's just double check the votes. Auronnj, what's your vote?
Laswell.
All right, Laswell it is. Diggs?
Laswell.
All right, and Reindell.
I'm losing, but I will stick with my Rain. I stick with it. I think there's ways to make him work.
Did America just drop democracy on Canada right here, or am I wrong?
Yeah, I'm getting I'm really getting beaten up by you Americans.
It's okay, you guys have healthcare, so I mean, there's always.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah, that's all because Umbra doesn't get a vote. I'm sure he'd side with a fellow Canadian.
Well, let's actually, I did want to talk about one experience I had this week. Now that you guys have voted, and there's another part coming to this discussion in like half a second here. But this week I ended up facing a combination team actually a couple times of Lord Mont and Rain. And it shut down my Black Witch Helena, and it shut down my Yuna, and it shut down my Duan. So there might be some decent actual, a decent or decent anti-ice team for the future, which is good because we have to talk about a little bit of a data mine that came in the last 12 hours, actually. This was a surprise. WodeofCalc ended up really hustling on the FF7 Part 2 data mine. We got Aerith and we got Barrett details, but we also got a surprise, a new vision card for Laswell featuring Laswell and Shiva on the card. And woof, this card, oh boy, we got the ice element card might be the strongest element now, boys. So this vision card, for anyone who doesn't know, single person effect is 25% attack up. Trying to remember exactly. Maxed for the entire party is 25 human killer. And there were a couple other effects that I just can't remember off the top of my head.
I have it up on my screen right now. So it is HP 313, attack 152, defense 4, ice individual unit attack plus 30%. Party wide, it is ice agility up 15%, increased acquired AP up 25%, and for ice units, they get 25 human killer.
Yeah, so we basically got like a speed card with a human killer card with an attack up card. You know, all of these wonderful effects. How does this how does this make you feel about Laswell going forward? Start with Auronnj. I have a delivery I got to go grab. I'll be right back.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty clear. You go Fenrir plus this card plus anything else, and like the unit wearing this card gets 75% attack. No, it's actually 30% attack. So that's an 80% attack buff for the unit wearing this card if Fenrir's in that group as well. Yeah.
An important point that someone put in chat too is Global is probably going to get an exclusive buff for Laswell as well on this VC.
Yeah.
So
Laswell will also get slash resistance penetration 45.
Right.
Then one thing I want to say, we did say it was man killer. It's man killer on physical attacks only, so it doesn't work for the mage part.
Or Medina.
Is there ice mage units? Medina?
just Medina.
Half of Rosa?
Just Medina.
Maybe?
Yeah. Rosa's a bow user. She doesn't use magic.
Yeah, and she has a ton of physical attack as an archer.
Umber, you missed our data mine. Are you back?
I am back. Sorry.
Get me data mine. There's actually
Valentine Salir.
There's a global buff on this for Laswell that's 45 slash resistance penetration. Just nobody knows about that yet.
And another 20% agility.
Yeah, that's right. Just 20% agility and luck.
Jesus.
Oh, Shiva's also an ice card. Yeah. So there, Laswell. You also run Shiva in this group and just dodge everything.
So, Auronnj, you talked. I guess you guys just you guys discussed it a little bit while I was gone. Oh, what a good host I am. Oh no. So anyway, yeah. But there's also something I want to put out there involving this, which is, what if there's a rain card right around the corner as well? I mean, Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that would definitely turn the tables, because I think the biggest thing that's holding Fire teams is that their strongest vision cards have been time limited vision cards. So we can't build them or do anything around it. And then, so they currently they're not hooked up. And the party abilities that are released for vision cards have been highly in favor of light, dark, and ice. And the other elements kind of got screwed up. Like, they have some good cards, but generally they're not that great. So if we get a good fire card with a great party ability, that will definitely help, like, fire in general. And then possibly people will change their votes to rain.
So we're getting Phoenix, right? Which has magic resist and dex for the party. And then we're getting Mont's vision cards, which has HP for the party and debuff resistance for the party. So both of those are pretty bad. I mean, against ice specifically, like, Fire's vision cards are trash. If you're trying to build a fire team with vision cards, like, some of their best cards are MR cards, which is oof.
Crashed right next to Ayaka in the garbage.
Poor Ayaka.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Laswell card is pretty big. We also got the news that from the FF7 event, the UR farmable piece of equipment is the Shinra Bangle, which also has Human Killer on it. So we have Human Killer on a card, we have Human Killer on a piece of equipment, we have Laswell's katana. Laswell is, and the ice element in general is looking incredibly powerful, and I just don't know. I feel like ice might take the lead over dark in terms of the strongest element in the game. It's interesting because fire, which counteracts it, is essentially a defensive element right now, it feels like, with two of its major units being tanks. So we could be entering a new era of what's going to be the master element, and we're just going to kind of have to wait and see, I think, about this. But this vision card, it is in there, and apparently there's global buffs going on, so ooh, what an interesting time to be alive.
I hope people believe that global buff.
Are you saying that Tifa and 2B aren't going to be viable?
Let's just get that nice. Well, keep in mind, the Shinra Bangle does have an evasion type, so Human Killer on an evasion type. Roll that dice. I think
that's true.
In before the next thing that comes out in JP is a fire element non-humanoid character, Red the 13th.
That would be very badass.
Red 13 is the secret character. You heard it here first.
That would actually be great.
Yeah, would it be awesome?
It would be. It would be really cool because that is something that has been missing from Wotive is the non-human characters. How the hell did 2B and 9S end up being our first non-human characters in a game, in a Final Fantasy game of all things? All right, but I think that it's going to be pretty interesting. I think a lot of people like Rain. I think a lot of people like Laswell, and it's nice to see passionate people in the community. But lay off me when it comes to reviews. I'm just doing a general thing. All right. So let's move on to our main topic. This is collaborations. This is a thing that I think has been a contentious point for me in the past. I've held off doing a YouTube video about it because obviously I knew this was coming up. So Diggs and Reindell and Auronnj, with collaborations, we essentially have very expensive time-limited events where before, during the Brave Exvius days, these weren't time-limited. We never had this problem with Final Fantasy characters, and it's not a licensing issue unless Square and Gumi's relationship has gotten worse and they are being far more cautious about it. But we got no connected stories, we have very limited maps. I think that the FF7 event has a total of approximately 5 maps, maybe 5 exclusive maps, and this has been worked on, been planned for over a year now. There isn't any special events, we just get the raids, and I was thinking, you guys have brought up Tactics as well recently. Tactics had Deep Dungeon, Tactics had a lot of stuff, there's been Porcelain Towers around other events, but really FF7's gotten nothing special that we're aware of, and they're over a month long now. How do you feel about collaborations, and what do you think they need to improve on? So let's start with Diggs. I'm going to go with you first.
Yeah, it would be nice if it felt like they cared about the game sometimes, particularly from a global perspective. But, if anything has kind of shown, maybe in 4 months they'll fix the game, right? Like when the game was broken in January, they gave us, it'll be fixed in 4 months. And what happens when they fix the game is we actually find out that they're just uploading a new version of the client from JP. They didn't actually make any changes. You can tell that because they didn't include the files for Fryevi and Dwayne. So it's literally copy pasta. They just don't give a fuck and they don't care. And Gummy is just candidly, pretty terrible company, I would say, in terms of making events and making things special. And I'm surprised that Square Enix isn't holding them accountable. I've talked about this before, but Square really needs to be like gun to their head. Like, what the fuck are you doing with our game? It's kind of how I feel about it.
Valid points, definitely on that. Well, Reindell, how do you feel about collaboration?
I have a similar standpoint as to what Diggs said, but I think in general, and that's could be related to collaborations, but just in general in the game, what I would love to see and what would really improve my experience is difficult content that you have to prepare for, just like these selection quests are right now, but stuff that we keep having to work towards. Right now, there's no end game goal. The only content I feel where I'm challenged is in PvP, but that's not healthy because it's the place where you always need to get the newest units to compete in a way.
It's toxic.
And yeah, so that's something that I have some trouble with. And if with collaborations, they release stuff like the Deep Dungeon, stuff that you have to manual, that you have to play, and that gives you some insight in the story, or something similar to the collaboration that we've had with FFB, where it was voice acted stories, where we just got something nice. But just that made it a very nice collaboration. And I would say even more interesting than the Final Fantasy X one. And I'm a big Final Fantasy X fan, but we just got units in a couple maps. Like there wasn't any story, there wasn't anything with that. So that would improve my experience way more than getting more units or getting more vision cards. Just some stuff to play that's the actual game and not just PvP.
All right. Absolutely. And Auronnj, how about you?
Yeah, I think the thing missing, first of all, I love collaborations because it's their hype, but the thing that's missing from them is PvE. They do the box events sometimes, which by the way are my favorite PvE events, because I think there's at least a level of like I can boost my score by being more optimized, etc. Um, but something, okay, we've done that. Now give me something that's like, okay, I'll give her a memory, right? When I first played the game, Final Fantasy 14 events live, right? And I get to the first boss, and I'm like, finally, a boss fight. Let's go. And I had to like level my account up. I was using like Y'shtola in there, and it felt really cool. Anything that could bring back that feeling in PvE would be a big win.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah, one of the things I continually see in my chats and everything is like, how do you not do Shinra Tower as an actual thing for this? Like, actually, one of the things I've missed, and I thought about it last night, is just I really missed the Deep Dungeon because it was a different mechanic, and they spent time developing it, and it's never been used again. I mean, you could do you could use Deep Dungeon with FF7 because spoiler, there are underground segments in labs that do with FF7 remake, and the Shinra Tower is one of the most iconic things. And hell, if it's really a asset problem, make it the freaking elevator. Make it like really limited space where you stop on multiple floors going up to the Shinra Tower. And it's just like I just don't know how they've fumbled this so badly. Where like the biggest addition to the FF7 collaboration thus far is the fact that the characters have voices, and this is one of those things that I realize that there are people in the community who want this. I realize that it ups the value of the character, but I feel like most of the community plays on silent. So, ooh, look at that. There's
Got my light team farming. Plug this in.
I mean,
nice.
you got me thinking about things that are excluded in the game that they already have. And like, in the beginning of the game, in the tutorials, you're running missions where like you're moving your characters to positions and trees are falling, and you're moving your units to different places with different effects on the ground. You had the one battle with Gilgamesh with like fields on the ground that were dangerous. Like all of these things are just not happening. They just don't use them, and it kind of sucks.
Yeah, well, I guess if you want to talk about things that I would love to see in the game like this, I would love to see objective-based combat. That's not about killing all the enemies, but reaching said spot, surviving said number of turns, just capture the flag, like take the flag back to your base. There are a lot of type of content that would make units that are bad at PvP, but would be great in these content, and it would force people to build differently and think differently about the game. That would be a good addition as well.
Yeah. I see in chat someone's mentioned puzzle maps. It was one of those things also during Brave Exvius where it really shows the limited scope of either what they have for development time or whatnot. Because, like, it's one of those things where it's like there's never been a challenge in that game of just survive X number of turns or anything like that. Like, it's always do as much DPS as you can. Like there were a few times where some glimmers of ideas showed up, but I do feel that I don't think it's unfair to say that Gumi is a little bit untalented when it comes to making content. Warren,
Not
we
very
didn't get you, so what do you think?
about this. Yeah, I just shows. I think there's a lack of creativity sometimes. It's really easy to go like the thing with the collaboration is all the hype is generated from the nostalgia, right? And so it's simple. You're like, oh, Cloud and Tifa, and you're like, oh, baby. But then like, okay, do something with them. PvP, Guild Wars, Arena. Which hey, like maybe I want maybe less than everybody else on this creative bit because I like to auto the game. My favorite thing about this is I'm like, I make a team and now my game is playing itself over there. That makes me feel good. Something inside of me feels good about me doing something else while that game is doing something. So I don't want to always have to be manualing, but every once in a while with like a reward and maybe check this out. Now, this is a crazy idea. Mobs drop stuff that is not materials for other gear. Mobs actually drop loot. Check that idea.
That's you are a crazy man when it comes to that, but it sounds awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm just so shocked that given all the time they put into making these assets, that they can't even do even the littlest bit of story. Like, how nice. Like, here's something. You globalers have this experience. I don't, so I need to defer to you. You guys had the Brave Exvius event, what, last month? So
Yeah.
there was story there. I mean, I don't think it was too much. Oh, puppy. Sorry. Like, you guys had that connectedness between the two games. It's just so weird for that to be missing, to spend all these time on these assets and getting the licensing, even if it is, I'm sure they still have to like do the lawyer stuff with Square for using FF7R remake content, and it's just like, why can't you just have even the smallest bit of cutscenes where, you know, Cloud tells Mont that he's just an idiot and he's with the wrong woman and he should be with Glassy, and it's just like, how do you miss that opportunity?
But Cloud's lightning. He's gonna kill Glaciella.
Dang, Cloud.
Yeah, it's just so weird.
You railed it so.
Sorry, I read the mood. I did as you said, Darren. I said what I thought and then I apologized.
Hey, that's how you do it, man. Don't even apologize for that one. That was nailed it. Oh man. No, I agree though. I think you're exactly right. Like, just something, you know, game design, I think is the word we're looking for here.
Game anything.
Yeah, I mean, collaborations are expensive parts, and they definitely they bring in money. So, like, put that money back into the game. Like, this is something that's a little off topic, but it also still relates. Is the fact that we get so many quality of life updates that don't actually improve the game, where it's like, oh, the UI has been redesigned, and we're doing this, and all of this quality of life stuff month after month after month. Don't stop doing that for like a month, please. Just put some time into actually making events and content for us. And if you're gonna, like, FF7 was technically announced 1 year ago. This is what you came up with in 1 year? And think about it. You have two bosses. You have the Sweeper and you have the Guard Scorpion after a year.
So, okay, I'm going to throw a conspiracy theory at you then.
Ooh.
And I thought this right when they dropped the Final Fantasy VII news. Was it not kind of interesting that the Final Fantasy VII news came right off the back of all the like Wales and JP threatening to quit? Does it not seem like maybe that they weren't done developing it yet, and they just maybe all they had was some like assets, and they pushed them out and said, "Here you go, we'll bring in." They played a trump card. That's kind of that was my thought.
That's an interesting theory. The timing does work out pretty well, but my only problem with that is that, I mean, like FF4 and FF10, really weren't any more content than FF7 was. So I don't know if they pocketed 7 for a while to wait in case of an emergency. But it doesn't seem like the collaborations have improved over the course of, what, 8 months now?
I think like the most fun I've had PvE wise was was Cecil's collab. That box event was just enjoyable. The way it was, the map was set up, you needed to kill some things on the sides to like get points. So you needed units with like movement. The boss, you could like do, I don't remember exactly how it worked out, but I remember like Cecil was important to it and he was the free unit. And then Ramza was really good and he was another unit that we just had access to. And like, so you got to use all these units you didn't always use. And that I would be fine with just that level of creativity. We're like, hey, we're going to reward people who built Cecil, who built Ramza, who built Titus, right? Because Titus was the give me unit, and make them like. I enjoyed that stuff a lot. So even if it was just that, it'd be a step in the right direction for me.
Some of us who don't have Ramza as like the only unit that we don't have did not find that event very enjoyable.
By building all characters, you mean all characters except for Ramza.
Correct.
In this event, I was using Rosa as a carry, using Laswell to reduce ice resistance, Rosa to reduce ice resistance, and then Gilgamesh. And I was building like ice chains to try to kill Golbez because I didn't have any of the units aside from Cecil at like 79.
But that's
was
cool.
Fun. That was really fun.
Yeah.
Like, it was content where you had to think and plan out your shit, and I enjoyed it.
Yep.
Yeah. So
that was like early in my content creation days too, and I like had fun making videos for that. You know, and right now my most fun videos now are unit reviews, unit previews. It's all unit, and people love that stuff. But man, yeah, people also loved strategy guide stuff. And you just don't need a strategy guide for Go Auto Farm.
You do for 12. Tower though. You do for Tower.
True, and you got Tower's true. Tower's not my favorite thing. I'd rather raid.
Wow, you're hurting me. You're hurting me.
I have Ramza and I don't like Tower. We're just arch rivals.
I mean, we're fighting now.
Oh my god. InterVisions first.
To our hot tub stream.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah, Umbra.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm committed. Are you committed, Auronnj?
Yeah, I'm going.
Reindell, are you committed?
I mean, I can fit something with hot tub.
Okay.
You have to tell me more about the details about this later.
Well, I think we're all coming to Japan.
Yes.
And we're going to do the 2-year anniversary stream for Global from an onsen in Japan with you.
If you don't invite me, I'll be horribly hurt.
Will you get a hold of Cabbage and bring Cabbage over too?
I don't have direct contact with Cabbage. Cabbage is like the other JP player, and he comments on my videos every so often, and I think he's a good guy and everything. I like that he and I disagree on stuff. Like, he is a champion of Whisper and Uldoa and all the characters that I kind of pass up on, and it's just like, like people are like, how can you be against our Lord and Savior Whisper? And it's like, come on, guys, I only have so many resources. Give me a break here.
I think there would be nothing better for bonding than like a whole bunch of naked men in an onsen streaming. I think that would just be incredible.
Nothing better for our Twitch accounts than 5 naked dudes.
It's okay. We just we only stream on Diggs. He's the only one who gets banned, and we all profit from it. There you go.
Yep.
So, all right.
Chat says do it.
Yeah. So yeah, collaborations. I think a lot of people. It's interesting hearing you guys say this because Gumi should be watching this. That's right. First InterVisions, and Gumi should be watching this because collaborations are a major part of this, and very clearly there are a lot of feelings in the community that it needs to be way better than what it currently is. And I don't think that there's a disagreement on that, but I do think that there is potential because I have heard from these guys that there is stuff you guys like, and there is stuff you guys want to see in this. Like, obviously we care, otherwise we wouldn't be doing this, but It's really, really nice to hear your guys' opinion on this. Personally, I think collaborations need to just be way better in the future. And what the hell happened? Like, what happened to Deep Dungeon? How is that completely vanished for over a year now? Like, you had the content programmed. I assume you could have done something with it.
Am I
So,
right? Deep Dungeon was the one where you just had to have Frederica or you were trash.
I don't remember it being that bad.
No, that
What am I thinking of?
You're thinking of the tower, I think. The first
Tower 30, Tower Floor 30 with Siren.
Yeah.
No, what's the one where you was all height? It was like you just were in. It was you were on height 27 and you had to work your way down this tower and you just would just stand there because there was masses
Yeah.
corpses
That was
in
in the
front of you.
second tower, I think, like floor 27 or 26.
Okay, I hated that.
Yeah,
Whoever
that
was.
that might have been Tower because I don't remember. Dungeon was the one with the you leave the crystals up and everything gets bright and you could see the enemies.
Oh, okay. Yes, yes. It was a wait. There was a mechanic that involved the map and crystals. Wow.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. And it was in the Tactics Part 2 event and it hasn't shown up ever since. It's just so weird that that content is gone now because it's just like that was an idea. Continue with that. Where are porcelain towers? Can't be that hard.
You know what else I really liked, and I wonder if this is what the guild battle thing is going to be. In Grand Blue Fantasy, you played like you fought bosses in like PvE guild battle stuff, where it's like you scored points and you just murdered this boss as much as you could, and you were against another guild, so it was PvE guild battles, which was really cool. And even like as a new player, at least I was like, well, I can at least score as many points as I can. And even if so that way, because like if right now, if you're new and you go against somebody who's playing this game for 13 months in PvE, you will get smashed. Like their vision cards are 99, their espers are 99, and they have a 120 unit, you're dead. But if it's a collaborative thing against a boss, you can be like, look, I can beat the level 55, and at least my points count for something, except, giving the other team 3 stars.
Well, I mean, it's.
And then chat is saying more limited guild battles.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. I think limited guild battles, but maybe limited arena maps or stuff like that, like specific things where you have to do something else than bring the meta units and the newer units.
I feel
would
like
be really fun.
I feel like that's never going to happen because I'm sure Umbra can verify how broken it's been every time they try to do limited guild battles in JP.
Actually, sorry, Diggs, I gotta contradict you on this one. It feels like we've been having a regular stream of them recently. I mean, more so than any other piece of content, other than, obviously their monthly raid kind of thing. But there has been a good number of limited battles that have been, I think recently was like 500 cost max with male only or female only parties. So they're actually being pretty good about that. Like the but PvP content is essentially you make some rules, you do a little bit of programming, and you throw it out there, and it's very, very easy to do because the users are generating the content, not them. But could there be more? Probably. I mean, I think my guild right now is really wanting to just skip the regular guild battles because you don't get anything from it. It's just coins. But someone on the JP side, there has been a guild already that has gotten to max level. So that's kind of interesting. I think that was about a month or two ago as well. So, all right. So that's it for the collaboration talk. I want to thank you guys for going in on that conversation with me. There's probably a better way to say that, but that's what my brain chose to say.
I'm always ready to go in, Umbra.
Oh.
Always.
Kinky.
Just saying. Just saying.
All right. So, this was supposed to be the viewer question segment of the show, which, because of timing and arranging, I haven't actually had any viewer questions on my YouTube yet. Diggs, is there any questions that you can get in your chat?
Twitch chat, ask us questions right now. Go. I will read them off for them. Give them a second. They got that 5-second delay. I'm not hitting on Umbra. Umbra's not my type.
My girlfriend would be very unhappy if someone else was hitting on me. So I'm not allowed. I've already been told I'm not allowed to be hit on by anyone. That's an impossibility.
Umbra and Reindell, what are your guys' favorite units?
Do you want to go, Umbra?
You first, Rhino.
Okay. My favorite unit in terms of it depends if you go the gameplay design aspect or the unit like personality and all. But let's talk about gameplay, and that would be Alim. I think she's a super cool unit. She can be evading. She can be built for some sort of magic tankiness. She has 3 different types of damage, and she's an MR unit. What's not to love?
Nice. Over tier. I mean, so personally, like, not favorite unit from a usability point, but from a like Lorila is like my favorite girl in the game. I think he was done dirty by the story. I'm not going to get over that anytime soon. But I love her design. She's like very traditional Japanese archer, and she's so in contrary to whoever is designing characters in Wotiv and has a thigh fetish. Auronnj, you actually just gave the Wotiv creator too much pleasure because you showed off your thigh on screen, and now, oh my god. But in terms of like my favorite character for usability, I gotta go with Eldira or Elvira. I call her Eldira. She's just been the bestest farmer Everest for the longest period of time, longer than Black Witch Helena. I mean, I think her design's great, but I mean, she is just the backbone of a lot of farm teams for me. So that's who I got to go with.
Here, I got a question. Can we? Are you guys ready for a question from the stream?
Yeah, go.
Sure.
Okay. If you had to pick one game that was not a Final Fantasy game to collaborate with War of the Visions, what game are you picking?
This is the easiest question ever for me. Persona 5. Just
Ooh,
because
yes, good one.
the characters are iconic, the style is amazing. It would be neat to see those characters and what their kits would be in this game. But more than anything, I just want to see Square Enix collaborate with like one of the other most popular RPGs of the last little year and just be like, hey, look, you guys can be friends sometimes.
I would pick Golden Sun from the Game Boy Advance era. Those were great RPGs, and these units would be so badass in a War of the Vision style, I think.
God, Golden
Going
Sun.
Legend of Dragoon all the way. I think that just fits. Like you just do all of them. You pick your favorite, or like you do a selection thing where you put all the dragoons in the game and you just get to pick one, and that's the only one you get, and you have to like level them up. I think that'd be super fun.
Yeah.
Biggs, how about you?
I don't really have one in particular that I love. But I'll go with chat. I think I have to. I have to say Chrono Cross. Like I feel like that's like the go-to must-have. Yeah, I'll stick with Chrono Cross for now.
The literal legal impossibility based on what we know about that game is forever limbo. That is like GoldenEye, where it's like too many people own the code and none of them are ever really going to cooperate. And fans, get on that one. When Wotiv dies, let's make some characters for the fan version of Wotiv.
It would be cool to get some anime collaborations too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How much you want to bet we're going to see, since Square Enix owns it, Full Metal Alchemist?
100%.
Okay, that would be great.
Yep. They're doing that in. No, they're not. Never mind. I lied.
They already did it in Brave Exvius, so it's a complete possibility. And we're getting Lara Croft. How has no one mentioned the grandness of Lara Croft yet? Oh my god!
I'm surprised that you're not excited for that, Auronnj, since that means Explorer Eileen might be coming.
Hey, if it's Explorer Eileen, it's my favorite collab in the game. So I will sell my house, whatever I got to do.
Like I would immediately that's the first thing I thought when I saw that was we're gonna get Explorer Eileen. Maybe Olive will make an appearance.
Oh, so that would be
probably just get double gunner wind unit for Croft.
That would be another non-human unit, wouldn't it?
I have no idea.
Well, she's a goddess, so.
No, you said Olive the other reindeer, right?
Wait, no, Olive.
I'm
All
like,
in
it was a
from
Christmas joke.
FFPE.
It was a Christmas joke.
Only people with
Okay.
Rams that got that
Okay.
joke.
You guys are getting winter units. You guys should be in the Christmas mood, right? Your EX is probably right around the corner.
I
We'll
hope
see.
so.
We'll see.
I've been
I'm still-
saving. Yeah, I've been saving my EX materials for those for a while now. I really hope they do come out.
I'm still claiming justice because people gave me such a hard time when the EX units or when the regular Christmas units came out, and they're like, Diggs, why are you saying not to pull for them? The EX is right around the corner. Fuck you, everybody that said that and said I was wrong. I am glad your sorry asses have had to wait and that I was right.
You
Just
know,
saying. I'm just saying.
I love the controversy. I mean, that's how we get the show trending, is just being like, oh my God, can you believe what Diggs said to someone? Beautiful.
Why are Americans downvoting the Canadians' opinions? That's the best
That's
line you
right.
can put
That's
on.
right.
Oof. Now, that's okay. Reindell, we'll just have an all Canadian InterVisions one day, and then it's just like, where are the Americans? I don't know. They didn't show up for this one. All right, but do we want to take one more question, or do we have one more?
Yeah, I got a good question for you guys.
Oh,
Okay. Oh my gosh, this is a long question from Zent.
It's even
Okay,
properly
so-
formatted.
I know. Okay. So this is Dr. Zent. My question would be, if your guys' opinion, how can the community actually change or at least impact gummy decision making in regards to features or future plans for the game besides telling people to stop spending money? It feels like besides when the top guild decided to boycott Dwayne and JP, everything else feels like we are completely powerless, which is understandable, but I just wanted to see what you guys thought about it. So are we completely powerless at changing the course of this game?
No.
Yeah.
So how would you suggest to somebody that they can change this game?
well,
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, I'm going to start with the obvious example. JP did it already. JP did it in a big way. JP literally smacked them down. It took a massive commitment from the community, but there's no way in heck that we don't have influence, and we really have to tell them. We do have to influence them. I think our community needs to be more organized, whether that's through shows or content creators or anything like that. But JP got it done. We fought against the dual cost scourge that was happening every single month, and it worked. It took them literally a few minutes to change over the stuff. It's just they can do it, and we can make them. Honestly, I think Global needs to get in touch. There needs to be I hate to say this, but a union between the top guilds. Not even like whatever, you're competitive, but work together. You guys can greatly influence what is done because you are the money makers and you owe it to the community, because let me tell you, the game's not going to survive just on you guys. It needs to have enough people. Otherwise, it's a very small, sad little group.
Yeah, I mean, and I know the question said besides money, but like that is our negotiating tool, is money. We are customers. And so what I know, like, and it said like content creators on there, right? Well, I know if I started playing a different game, that would influence. Like if I started maining whatever another game was when it came out, or Cat Creator 99, and I just started playing with cats on stream, you're like, what can we do? Well, what do we need to do? I guess like we would. I think it's what Umbra said. We could decide on something and then pursue that goal. And so, for example, with community events, I think would be a big thing. And I run a community event every week. I've talked with some people, and those people have said, "Hey, if you could have something already going and show community support for that thing, and then talk to the official channels." Well, the official channels might be willing to do something with you, but they need to see what Umbra was saying, that like that there is more than you just bitching about it, right? And so we'll see. Like, I'm gonna see if something comes out what I'm doing, and if it is, great. If not, well then it's just me doing it, and then they risk losing that whenever I quit. So I don't know.
No, absolutely fair points. Reindell, how about you?
I think, first of all, I really want to side with what you guys have been saying. Like, if people go together and if they have something's already going, that's obviously going to have a good impact. But also in global, we need to keep in mind that most of the game is already designed before it comes to us. And obviously, the budget that they have and the way they work on the game is different because they're bringing back something that's released in JP and just making some small adjustments. So I think if we want some major elements of the gameplay and we want things that aren't just what's going to be coming from JP, we would probably have to work together, both JP and global, so that our voice reaches them. So that's probably something that would be very difficult because of the language barrier. But if we could get like the top guilds on both servers at the same time to vouch for a specific opinion, that might have a bigger impact as well on the way the company reacts.
Yeah. And Diggs, how about you? What do you think?
I think they definitely pay attention. Like there have definitely been, especially when I was first starting out, like suspicious changes to the game right after I made a video about it. There, like that definitely has happened more than once. But that is also, that's I haven't seen that happen very often. And I don't think we have much of an impact. I don't know. It's frustrating to say because you would think that the financial impact of not fixing the game for 4 months would be a big deal, right? And they didn't do it, and they didn't really care. And when you think about the financial impact that global can have versus JP, honestly, I think they would be in the right not to even care about us, right? Because they're releasing a product to us that is, substantially subpar in many ways, and they're getting a fraction of the revenue that they get from JP, right? So I haven't seen the revenue numbers specifically in a while. The last time I checked, though, JP was outspending us substantially. And if I were a developer, I would be looking at JP. I would not be looking at global because JP is where the money's at.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't tend to look at the numbers either because, honestly, I probably should pay more attention to it. But you make good points. All of you make good points about what's going on, and I think that global does need to, I mean, you have to remember also that global is like as global's a different revenue source from us because you guys are essentially advertising dollars for them. That's partly why you guys get some more of the stuff that we don't, because even if you're not directly paying for it, you're making the money in a different way, and that is important to note that you guys do have another way of influencing it. Stop doing the advertisements. Create. If you guys really want, I don't even think you need to spend money to really do it. I think you guys could do. You might have to organize a week of just like do it as a community, plan it as a week, and just say, okay, a week of no video summons. Guess what, guys? It's just not worth it. And that might make them actually stand up because revenue coming in from ad is probably a lot where global is, and I bet it's not reported under Google Play or iOS stores income. Like that might be why global's spending doesn't seem as big, because guess what? It's coming in from a different source and it doesn't need to be reported.
Yeah, I guess I will say, like, I do, however, remember playing this game when it launched. I do, however, remember playing this game 6 months ago, and the experience is significantly better today than it was then. So, like, I'm typically a very positive person. The game is improving, and I think it's important to note we are comparing this game to what we think it could be, right? Like, there's not a competitor. There's not Final Fantasy Tactics sit like other mobile game where you go, like, there's other mobile games that are out, but none of them are like this. And so I think that hurts it. I mean, competition breeds creativity and all of that. And this game is doesn't have competition, doesn't have direct competition. There's competition for our time from other sources, but it doesn't have something that's pushing it. So all of our ideas are just pie in the sky ideas that we think are like, oh, this would be cool. And we should keep having those ideas. You should keep saying them. We should keep pushing those because maybe somebody will listen. I do think it probably comes from JP instead of us. But I mean, hey, what doesn't hurt to say your ideas? And the game does keep improving, except for removing the mog shot button from the UI. What the hell was that? Whose idea was it to take the mog shot button away? Bring it back.
There are some people who have some questions in chat, and they're asking specifically about Amazon sales as well. And just because I'm sponsored by Amazon, I can actually answer that a little bit. So a lot of people are saying that Amazon has to be the primary moneymaker. That's actually not true. Out of all the app stores, Amazon is the least profitable store for War of the Visions. And iOS and Google Play significantly out revenue Amazon in comparison to Amazon, basically. So
You just hear about Amazon because they sponsor people.
right.
And so, yeah, like if Google Play was like, hey, if you have a Google Play link and you plug it and you get money for it, I mean, the content creators would do that thing because,
Yep.
Amazon's just not as available. Like if you live outside the USA, it's hard to even use it.
Yeah, so I mean, it would make sense, like if you're like, oh yeah, Amazon must be the most profitable way, right? But if you're considering that's only US, and US is, if you're going by like Wotive Calc statistics, they're number one, but you know the other countries significantly outnumber the US. Yeah.
You mean I look at my video, like I'm always studying my videos, and I get a lot of views in the US, but I get a ton of views in like the Philippines, Japan, like all of these other countries are just stacking up views. And like all of those views are places where like Amazon, or a lot of those places, Amazon coins are not even a thing. So yeah. Yep.
I have actually AK Keto in my chat who does some of the videos about revenue, global and JP, and he makes a point of just being like, even if global is not necessarily making the most money, it is still worth running. You have to remember that Square Enix is a company that has a lot of pride in itself. It is one of the strongest things about Japanese companies. Is that's why they most of the time won't sell out to anyone other than other Japanese people, because you know they have quite a bit of pride in their work and everything like that. Final Fantasy is this higher tier thing, and maybe that's an avenue towards global and whatnot. Like the more hits it takes, the more Square Enix notices in terms of like a pride aspect, because this is a pretty big game if you think about it, because they're getting all these voice actors, there's all this story, these 3D elements and everything like that. This is supposed to be a flagship Final Fantasy title from like Gumi, and the more its image hurts, the more they might take notice. So sometimes the avenue isn't money that you want to go for, and you want to hit the pride, right in the pride.
And assuming they have people who can program stuff, which I'm assuming they do, right? Despite some of the obvious shortcomings. It takes one person in head of a content development team that could implement all the, just somebody who's like, here's an idea, do this thing, and they make their people do it.
They have 3 people. They have 3 developers. That's all they have.
They can program it all. They can write code.
I think the assumption is that there is a global version of the game, and I don't think there is a global version of the game. I think it's just a copy of the JP version.
I don't think there's the summon button in the shop.
Right. Like I don't think there is actually content developed for the global version of the game, no matter what they might make us think. I think most of it's just translation into different languages. And you would think as a flagship Final Fantasy, they would develop content for it. But, that's not the way they're going to operate.
Well, and they've never had to do that before. Like, you just take Final Fantasy VIII, you translate it, you push it into the global. You take Final Fantasy XIV, you just make it different languages, run it on different servers, boom. So again, what we're talking about here is something that we think should happen, but they've probably never been pushed to do it before. Like, it would be cool. Imagine if they ran country versus country or something for global. Like they ran the Olympics and like USA got to play against Canada and the Philippines and Australia. And it was just like the people would be on board for that. You got a little
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and like the thing is the rewards, all you have to offer are stupid little like titles. People will play the game for a title. I will play the game for a title. And so, man, just do something fun. And then I got to shout out to Keto. He's an Eileen. He's the Pope of the Church of Eileen. So yeah, good man.
But yeah, I'm on board with you. If they want to have people embark 100% into events, they don't have to give like a lot of visual or rewards that will unbalance the game in terms of its power creep. They can give titles, they can give a weapon skin, they can give like any kind of little thing that doesn't take too much work in terms of development, but is unique enough for players to want to have it. And then all the hardcore guys will want to get that, especially if they can't get the specific thing with Visioner.
A Mont skin. Everybody has Mont. Play for a Mont skin.
There you go.
Boom. Everybody's doing it. Takes just develop that and patch it in. He's like doesn't cost anything. Somebody's time.
I mean, I think that I don't know. From the JP side, I have to be, I guess, maybe a little contrary. I think that Global does get some stuff that makes me a little envious. You guys buff a lot of characters. Like, okay, through vision cards, fine, or global buffs, but you guys do get some, some more balancing stuff. And whether the effectiveness of that balancing is questionable at times. But you also did get that Brave Exvius crossover event that we have not seen hide nor hair of. So there is some content. You do get some characters. I just think that Global, like, it's the same thing as Brave Exvius. It's the company where it's like most of the content is produced on the JP side and, copied over, as Dig said. That is not unfair. That is very an effective way for them to be doing stuff. But I think that Global does need it, but I wish that more of the content would come back the JP way as well. Like, I also think that Global has been a influencer a little bit on the JP side, where our conditions have been improved because of stuff you've got. It just so happens to be retroactively like 3 months in our future kind of thing. So they're both sides do have some influence on each other, but in terms of like what I feel like is just that there isn't enough money put back into the game right now. And Diggs is quite right to be frustrated by it. I would say that what Global is entering is the longest 3 months of frustration that I've ever felt in the game. And you can see it in my videos where I am not happy talking about some of this stuff, or it's pretty mundane and routine and whatever kind of thing. 7 has kind of been a snap of getting me back into it, but
it's just like Anniversary was for Global, right?
Yeah.
Like Global was like plummeting hardcore, and then you have Anniversary and Near, and it's like you can literally see in like all the trends. Oh, Anniversary's here, Near's here. Final Fantasy VII releasing in JP had an impact on Global. Yeah.
All right. Well, good questions from the chat. Thank you for everyone who submitted those questions. And, get more ready for next time. Cough, cough. Oh, subtle hint. Oh, thank goodness. But before we wrap up the stream, I got a little bit of a special thing to end the stream today. We're going to do some polls on the JP side. And I for anyone who watched me last night, the pain was real, but Aerith did come home, so I'm going to
Who are you polling for?
We're going to do the Barrett step up as a celebration of the first intergrade, and I'm hoping that the combination of the weather right now, as well as my computer won't just blow up at this point. But hey, we recorded most of the stream, so we're doing good.
I mean, if you played Final Fantasy XI, weather and moon phase and the direction you face, right? For crafting, even though that was all bullshit, it turns out, but it might help you.
I fully believe that if you call out Barrett's quotes while imitating his voice, he'll come.
Oh my god, Nightbot is going to get banned.
Is your bot giving you a hard time?
No, he's giving my chatters a hard time. I mean, AutoMod usually does that for me, but now Nightbot is just being pushy. Oh my god, stop it. All right.
The cats have both been in my background forever now.
I
They're
know,
just
I
gonna
love
sit in there.
them. Send them my love. They're so cute.
They're
He's just
playing
beating
right
up
now.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, we
They're
gotta.
sitting. We have an air conditioner installed there now, so they've been sitting on it.
Diggs, are you seeing it properly?
Yeah,
Yes,
you
we
are
got
there
it
when
all.
we see it.
Excellent. So yeah, we're just gonna scroll down here and we're gonna do the dumb thing. I would like to advocate that you should never ever do this, okay? These 4 step-ups are awful, but for entertainment value alone, this is what the internet loves. We're gonna do this. And Auronnj, Diggs, and Reindell are going to commentate for me.
Are you gonna cry if you don't get it? I want to see you cry.
You know what? I'll bet you 100% that I end up with Barrett, okay? Before the end of this
Okay.
stream. You
Okay.
ready?
Okay. So
All right,
for
let's go.
entertainment purposes, who do you absolutely not want to pull?
Well,
Rain.
Barrett's
Rain
kind of on the
needs
banner. I would say Medina because I maxed on her goddamn shards. All
I'm gonna get
right.
him on the first pull, 100%.
Oh my
Here it
god,
is.
it's a rainbow, guys. Can you
No.
believe it? All right.
No,
So
That's Barrett.
how many yellows? How many yellows do you think?
That's Eileen.
no yellows.
Oh.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's see. We
I
got
mean, you have 1 yellow there, but no yellows.
no
There's only
reforms.
3 yellows overall.
Oh, Liart, I hear that she's a good character. She runs the shop, so if you say nice things about her, good things happen.
Now I can't see it. I'm on a delay.
Oh my god.
So-
Oh, that's right. Oh my goodness. I should go this at like 1/10 pace, right?
Wait, you can't see it. You can't see the Discord stream.
No.
Oh, I should just watch the Discord stream. I'm
Oh,
an
wait.
idiot.
Yeah. Just pull up the Discord menu and you can see it.
All right. Yeah, I was watching Diggs stream.
Oh, Diggs, he's giving you all the viewership. You gotta be happy about that, right?
Ooh, double
right.
Arte this banner. All right, here's Barrett right here.
No. Auronnj.
Oh, it's someone new.
Who is from that countery that you don't?
Oh my
know?
god, it's Velric.
Ah,
Hey, I was just saying that he needed to be on this friggin' banner. It turns out he was.
Nice.
Wow, look at that. And I have none of his shards. Great.
another
Thank you.
Slasher.
Thank you so
You're
much.
only 1,000 shards away from level 120.
Yep.
That's it.
Oh my god, the beauty. All right, here we go. Part 2. That ice element, baby. Just need that Vlaswell vision card now. Oh, guys, we didn't get a rainbow. Shut the stream
Ooh,
down.
and a vision card. Oof.
Yee.
Oh my god, they
Is that
trolled
guaranteed
me.
double rainbow,
Oh.
though?
Double rainbow? No, not this time.
No,
No.
it's not a guaranteed unit. It's just a guaranteed rainbow. That's disgusting.
I know.
If
Look
it
at-
was
I think
global, you'd
rainbow
already
vision
have
cards-
200 coins.
Rainbow vision cards are the worst thing ever in this game.
That
Well,
is.
it depends. Like for a newer account, rainbow vision cards are a huge power up. But when you're at a stage where your vision cards are almost all maxed, it's usually not much value.
No.
Oh, we got a reform. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, that was. Oh, those all blue ones actually hurt my soul. Oh my god, it's Twin Dragon.
I'm surprised you don't have that maxed.
Yeah, I'm not very good with vision cards. Let's. Oh no, it is maxed now. It just maxed, Diggs. It just. Oh my god, hold on. I got a bit of a
I'm
storm.
proud of you.
I got a bit of a storm here going on, so I think it's screwing with my internet a bit. All right, here we go.
Hey, you want me? I'm gonna summon Barrett for you right here. You
Oh,
ready for this?
Foreign magic,
Okay.
the Reindell magic.
Erase, hit the
Diggs
button.
I
What
magic.
mean,
color book
I
are we
saw
gonna
your
get?
magic
Oh,
work
it's
with
silver?
Auronnj.
Oh, it's
so,
working. It's a unit. Are you ready for this change? It starts as a gold and it stays gold. Oh my. Is it disappointment? No, it's Barrett. We already know it's Barrett. We
It's
just gotta click 10
disappointment.
times.
This,
It's
this,
disappointment.
this is
Don't trust these
way
banners.
better with other people doing this for me.
It is very much disappointment.
I have done those 6K banners a couple times, and I've never gotten the unit I wanted on them.
Oh, we got a bonus. We got a bonus, guys.
Ooh, That's the Phoenix BC.
Oh, it's a max
Oh,
card.
BC.
I'll take it. It's free shards and a free
Right.
UR orb, right?
I could see
Okay.
Medina. I could see it being Medina.
It's machine gun arm.
All right.
Barrett.
You guys know how this works. If we see a flag, we win.
Go.
Oh, it's my girl. It's my
So
girl.
we were all wrong.
All
Nice.
right.
My
Big.
girl.
Now, I know what you're thinking, but hold on. Hold on. We're gonna get there. We're almost done, guys. We're almost done.
On my stream, this is where the Amazon coin fairy would pop up and would all of a sudden have 20,000 more Visio.
All right, guys. So
Are you gonna pity him? Do you have enough to pity him?
you remember how remember to sub. I'm really sad. Your subs will help me feel better.
Oh, here it is.
Let's watch
I
that
told you
beautiful
you were gonna
man.
get.
Oh,
Barrett.
look, guys, we got Barrett. Oh,
Yeah.
isn't that amazing? Wow.
Does it not show the
Easy.
video?
It does
it
not show the
come up and
video.
down?
No, it doesn't show the video. But hey, we did it. We got Barrett. Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
all of the 7
Wow.
characters. And
Can I say one thing about the
let's-
artwork for those characters. It's so great.
Yes.
The concept arts, wow.
Yep.
yeah.
That's where they're spending all their money is on artists.
Well,
I
can't
mean,
trust
maybe
that
not since they
much.
just had a Fryevia VC competition.
Yeah, they're crowdsourcing you guys.
Did somebody draw just like a freaking stick figure with like?
By the way, this is what a developed Barrett looks like in terms of stats. This is new. I didn't even get to show this off on stream last night. So
So he's got a lot of defense.
Yeah, that ain't bad.
He is-
1,000 attack.
he is
Wait,
slow.
Is that your Barrett?
No, this is a friend unit, Goomy Barrett. This is
And
I
this dude's
borrow
wearing
him.
trash gear too, like, or he's wearing his TMR.
Well,
So,
his
like, his
TMR gives
defense-
500 HP.
Yeah, but the defense would go. I don't know. I'd rather have defense or something.
It doesn't stack well with the bracers.
Yeah, so that's Barrett, and we'll just jump over really quickly and show off an Aerith. This is again friend unit because obviously not 120'd. But here's Aerith's stats, so you can take a kind of
Oh,
quick
look at
look.
that bravery and faith. Ooh.
Yeah, someone did their homework.
Yeah.
Like almost 1300 magic.
Yeah, 91 agility.
That is insane.
91 agility with siren equipped.
Yeah.
Like-
Also, it should be noted that she does have Bahamut on her, so that's a bit of a boost. But
Does her TMR give agility?
no.
No, it gives single unit resistance up around her.
Okay.
And I think it's
like how-
25%, isn't it?
Yeah. It's yeah, I think it's about that. She has hate down in her kit, so that's probably good enough. But so a little bit of a sneak preview of the reviews I have to do later. So much
Nice.
later. All right, so that pretty much wraps up this this episode of InterVisions. I would love to thank my co-hosts. The wonderful Auronnj, the amazing Dr. Diggs, the fantastic Reindell. All 3 of you were absolutely great on this first one. I want to thank you so much for working with me. The technical issues, the getting everything ready, all of that. Diggs, you've been fantastic for just getting this beforehand working. So thank you so much. And yeah, anything.
Are we doing this more? Is this something we're doing often? Is this like once a month? Are we planning? Like, do we have any ideas?
Well, once a month was the theoretical plan, but it could end up being a bi-monthly thing if you think there's enough content that we can do. I want to get like rotating people from the community, and although Auronnj, Reindell, Diggs, I want you all back. I want you all back for sure. But I know that there were some
I'm
on.
getting kicked off, guys. Oh,
You've been voted out.
It hurts.
Extinguish it. Bring your torch over. No, wait, that's like Survivors. That's 2000. That's way
I
too.
love Survivor. No, there's modern Survivor. Don't worry.
Oh my God, it's still going. I don't have TV anymore.
Oh, it's good. It's legit.
So
But yeah, I will say thank you so much for making this and inviting us, first of all. And yeah, if you do want me back eventually, I'll come for sure. It was a blast.
absolutely. So wait, before we go, closeouts. Auronnj, you have the mic for about like 30 seconds. Anything you want to say, go for it. Plug yourself as much as you want.
Oh, sweet. Okay, first of all, really cool to do a collaboration with a JP YouTuber. First one I've done with those. So big shout out to Umber Rays for bringing the global JP together. If you want to catch out any of my stuff, twitch.tv/Auronnj, about 4 o'clock Central Time USA. Always on Fridays, we have tournaments. Come check those out. We had 100 people in the tournament today. You can win gift cards and stuff. And then my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Auronnj, AURONNJJAYY. Yeah, that's it. So check those out if you want to catch some of my content. Thank you, guys.
All right, Diggs, you next. Go for it,
I'm
man.
showing the light on myself because I'm kind of lying back in the darkness. But you can find me at dig.gs/YouTube, dig.gs/Twitch. You can find me on my Discord. You can find me on Luca's Discord, who's hosting us today. You can pretty much just find me anywhere. Pleasure to be here. Was a lot of fun. I'll do whatever you need me to do. Just tell me. I'm a whore, and this is what I do.
There you go. Another InterVisions first. We've got it right here. Or, all right.
Yeah. Yep.
And Reindell, you're next.
Yeah, well, I'm on YouTube. I don't have the ending like Auronnj does, so you have to actually search for Reindell if you want to find me. Obviously, I'm a much smaller channel than all of you guys, so I'm really glad for this opportunity to kind of work with the big guys. I'm watching your videos and being a big fan, so it's kind of a big deal for me. But yeah, if you guys want to hop on my channel, most of it is guides on playing not meta stuff. And then, yeah, that's mainly what I do. So thanks so much for this opportunity again.
Yeah, that goes to everybody in chat. Please follow, like, subscribe, sub more. Find some other people, get them to sub to these guys as well. For Auronnj, Dr. Diggs, and Reindell. Of course, I have been Umber Rays. You guys know me from the YouTube/Umber Rays, as well as Twitch here, stream JP stuff. Horrible poll streams where we don't get anything until the very last poll, and sometimes pity. But yeah, we're definitely gonna continue doing this in the future. To what extent and how much depends on life schedules, organization, and all of that. But I think this was a very, very successful first stream, even with technical issues and hang-ups on my side. And we're going to get the word out to get more people to make the next one even bigger. So thank you guys for joining me so much. And we'll say goodbye to all of you in chat. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Remember to be very careful out there. Look after your health. And I think that's everything.
Wear a goddamn mask. Sorry.
There you go. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So see you guys. Take care.
Okay, I turned the record off. You can say whatever you want now. You're still on stream though, so don't say anything.